Yay.
Hello, Eileen.
Hi, Joanna. Thanks for rejoining. Yay. Okay, so let me, while Joanna is preparing, so I want to also give a proper introduction. So Joanna has over 18 years of experience, business partnering with leaders, right, in the area of HR, anything to do with talent management. She's there on the at the table, and then she spent a good 7 years, leading in the capacity of APAC leadership. And I know when you connect with her on LinkedIn, you would see she has not only looked after the talent space in technology and manufacturing sectors. In fact, I was quite like amazed that she also spent a good time in the chemicals and also of course right now in a global logistics firm, which all of you should have. For those of you who drive would know that when you see a car, Blue SG is owned by Bollore. All right. And yeah, so okay, so Joanna specializes in the development and implementation of global HR systems, and also she basically bring on the global practices, in a local context. And I know that because I've worked also with Joanna on other programs, and she has also, when I read this part, she dabbled with not just the pre but also the post, right, mergers and acquisitions. Whenever we talk about mergers, we talk about company acquiring another company. Can you imagine the nightmare of aligning things like compensation and the benefits, and learning programs? Okay, I think I better stop there. But the most important part, all right, is the last paragraph, guys. The last paragraph. Joanna reads, writes, speaks 4 languages. 4 languages. Okay, so when I first met her, I'm like, wait, what nationality are you? I'm like, whoa. And I also met a HR team handpicked by Joanna. She has a knack for talent, all right? So she has a degree in HRM and 2 master's qualification in HR and MBA. Yay. No wonder she's at the business table. It's like, don't test me. Okay, so what is she going to share? She's going to share with us what do HR look for in candidates in interview. We have heard the business view from Prashant, and so now let's listen to what Joanna has to share with us from the HR view. Joanna, are you ready?
Thank you, Eileen, for this nice introduction, and also good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm really happy to be here to share what you can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, hang on. I'm just muting everybody, so then you can unmute yourself, Joanna. Okay, hang on. Okay, Joanna. It's my bad, because I basically muted you, Joanna. By mistake. Okay, I think you're back.
I just unmute.
Yay, I can hear you.
You can hear me? By the way, can you see my screen?
I can.
Okay, so...
And I think you need to hide the presenter's view. Just right click. Right. And then, yep.
Okay.
Yay.
So very good afternoon again, everyone. Very nice to have you here, having me here. And then I'm really happy to share with you from HR background and with my experience, what you need to prepare for the HR interview. Okay. So Eileen just introduced me in a very nice way. And then I think it's a really first thing I often do with my interview with the candidates, because I don't want to just go with, hey, can you go start with your self-introduction? So usually, especially during the last year, during the COVID time, we all moved the face-to-face interview to the online interview, right? So usually what I do is I introduce myself first, and then you know who you talk to, and then that would be really good for you to understand me as one employee, and then not only as HR employee of this company you have interested to join. Okay, so my name is Shu Yu. This is my Chinese name, Joanna, and I'm Chinese. I majored in human resource management for my bachelor and master degree in China. So back that time, my time was 7 years. 7 years in the bachelor, 4 years in bachelor degree, 3 years in master degree. So I did a major in human resource for 7 years. And then I joined a Japanese company in Beijing. I worked in Beijing for 6 years and I moved to Tokyo headquarters for 3 years because my first foreign language is Japanese. I learned Japanese from my middle school. And after 9 years working for Japanese company and 7 years in the same university, I feel I need to do something change for my life. It's nothing, bad because I think I'm having a good degree and good job and really good caring from my boss, and I had a really good career progression. But I feel I need to do some challenge in my life. So I quit my job after 9 years in Japanese company. I went to US for MBA. So far it's a quite long time, and I stayed in HR for 18 years. And then out of these 18 years, I had this position as back HR director position for 7 years for three different types of the company. So Japanese company, an American company, and French company. So right now, from the past 3 years, I came to Singapore and joined a Bollore company, which is a logistic company. It's a number 8 in the worldwide. I'm here in aspect HR director role in Singapore 3 years. So I'm Chinese. I'm Korean Chinese. So I speak both Korean and Chinese as my native language. I learned Japanese from my middle school. So this is the first foreign language, and the English I did as a second language in my university. And what is my favorite food in Singapore? Persian, I stayed there for a few slides for Persian. Favorite food, my favorite food in Singapore is a fish ball noodle. It's really the simple food in Singapore, but this is really the first thing, and when I first time came here, it's really simple food you can have every day, but this is my favorite food in Singapore.
It's the first time I hear fishball noodle. I always hear laksa.
Yeah, laksa is one of my favorite as well. Chili crab is also my favorite, but I think it's, if you're asking me what food you feel you can have every day, maybe you're not going to have noodle every day, but this is really my favorite food in Singapore.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, Joanna, I can see your original slides though. So
I see.
You might have bounced out of slideshow already, I think.
You can see.
Click on that button again. So then yep, good.
Okay, very good.
Okay, jolly good. We are back on track.
Okay, so I think the title is really clear for this session. What HR look for during the interview, right?
Right.
So I think before I share what we look for from you when you are in this HR interview, I have 2 questions for you, just to want to understand. How do you feel HR interview compared to functional interview? Do you think it's more difficult?
Well, I launched the poll already.
Yeah, I see that. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, someone asked, Seok Yi asked, what is functional interview? Maybe you want
Functional interview, for example, if you're doing sales, then you meet with someone from sales function. If you're doing the IT, you meet with IT manager. If you're doing the operation, you're meeting with operation manager. So this is, I call functional interview.
And then now you are having an interview with HR. So naturally they'll be asking you other questions. So how do you
changing?
So
almost the same.
Yeah. Whoa.
Quite same.
Very good. Oh,
good,
wow.
Good.
Only you and I can see what they have voted,
Oh, really?
Only you and me? But I will share the results when everyone has completed. We are near hitting 200. Now it's like shy of 4 people, 2 people, 1 person. You must pass 200. Oh, okay, we passed 200. Then I can close the poll. All right. So, okay, now we have gone way beyond 200. So guys, so Joanna, shall I close the poll?
Sure. So I think it's quite interesting to know, because a lot of people, right, when I do, maybe there are 2 types of HR interview, because the first time as a candidate, you got call, right? You get call from a company, maybe from HR. The interview for those call, we call screen call from HR. So it's usually quite short, and to confirm your interest. and then to confirm really the basic skill set. So we call those called screening call. So, and here there is another type of interview is, for example, after you pass the screening call, right? And then we introduce you to the, if you're an operation person, we introduce the operation. If you're IT and then you're finance, you're sales, you are going to meet those hiring manager. And then after you pass those interview, there will be really, depending on the company, depending on the situation or depending on the position, there will be another HR interview. For example, you are in a key manager position, then we want to have another HR round interview. Or there was some of the concern raised by all these functional hiring manager. They want to have HR to have another chat with these candidates and then really to see whether they are hiring a good fit to those manager position. So usually you can see these are two types of different HR interview. And I think it's a quite good to see majority of you believe this HR interview is, there's nothing different. It's quite same with functional interviews. Okay. My second question.
Okay, wait.
Eileen, can we do another poll?
Yeah. Okay, I'll bring up the second poll. So the second poll is this, and you can, so everyone here will have more than one choice that you can tick. So tick all those that apply. Okay. Question: what do you think HR is looking for in any candidate? Is it the skill set, the required skill set? Is it communication, your values and beliefs, or management capacity? Wow, this one, they're very fast. They're very
fast.
Very fast. Yeah, we already crossed 50%. Half of the crowd has already voted. What else? Okay, let's see. We are hitting, okay, we're past 75% of you have voted, 3/4. What about the other quarter? Of course, we hit 200 of you have voted already.
200?
Wow. It's very close fight amongst three. All right, very close fight. I think I can stop, yeah?
Okay, yeah, sure, Eileen. So I was in the end of session of Prashant. So I also understand he was mentioning competency and attitude, right? And impact and motivation. So I think actually we are looking for, there's no big difference from what hiring the business leader is looking for versus what HR managers are looking for. So for example, Eileen, you already shared, right? We can see the majority of the number one, our participants selected is value and belief. So in my way, if I expand this another way, if you have a good value and belief, that will connect to the motivation, that connects to the capability to impact and the willingness to impact. And also that connects to your motivation as well. So there's nothing, I think sometimes we see some of the people, they did a really, really good interview with functional manager. And then when they come to HR, actually they don't know what will be the question during the HR. So there's there's no difference. And we are not looking for something different from functional manager to the HR manager during our interview. So value and belief, there's no wrong answer here. Everything is important because definitely we need to find the people with the right skill set. Definitely we want to look for someone with a good communication skill. Definitely we want to have someone who is really having this managerial capability. But I think here, one thing I really want to tell you, HR in Bollore, specifically, we see value and belief is the most important thing during the HR round of the interview we are looking for from the candidates. So you can see more the detail in the next slides, what kind of question we are asking and how you should answer those questions. Eileen, yeah, we can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop share this. Some may say, Joanna, you're giving them the answer book.
I'm opening the book, right? What we are asking.
And then, but you and I know, right? Knowing what you need to be is one thing. Being that person is something else. Yeah. Okay,
No
sorry.
problem.
Yep. Okay, so if we move on, I think everybody will be very keen to know what is the rule book that you're sharing with them,
Sure,
your
sure.
ideal profile.
Let me close the poll. So,
Yeah.
okay. So it's not a marketing here because I don't want to spend your time to market Bollore, but I think because this session, I talked to my team and talked to my boss because I'm going to attend this session. And I think I'm also quite happy to share with you how in Bollore we are doing this interview. And it's not only for to help you, and I think it's really good to share something you feel curious about and something really can help you to be better, whatever you are searching for a job or you have a plan to search a job in the future. So just a really quick introduction about Bollore, because whatever I'm going to share in the later, it's really the way we do the HR interview in the Bollore. And then I think Eileen, as you mentioned, right? So I'm giving all these secret because I don't worry at all, because I don't think this is a unique thing in Bollore. I was from different company and previously, and then we are all doing the same in HR. And then it doesn't matter, which company you are. Actually, HR people in the HR interview, they all looking for this kind of value and belief. Okay, so Bollore is really go quickly. It's a family business, French family business with almost 200 years history. And we have three main business. The first one is transport logistics, the biggest one. And second business we have is medias and communication. Maybe this one is really not that well known in Asia parts, but I think Universal Music Group, you should know. This is under Bollore, the investment. And third one business unit is relatively smaller compared to previous two, transport and logistics and media and communication, but this is really new, and we see this as a future business, blue solution. So Eileen also introduced in the beginning of part, right? So maybe you see the blue car sharing in Singapore. So we have a few countries we started in France, Milan, LA, and Singapore. I think Singapore was one of the country we are doing quite good for the car sharing. So you can see Bollore, I think, it's maybe a lot of people you are not familiar with Bollore, but I think this is really give you a quick overview about the company and what we are doing. And under transport and logistics, there are many different the business activity, right? So we have logistics, we have air, we have sea, we have all the different types of these logistics, all in the first part. And we also have ports, Bollore Railway, and Bollore Energy, okay? And what is our mission and vision and ambition? Because this is quite important, because this connects to the value and belief we fully believe in our employees need to possess. And then when we look for external candidates, we definitely need to look for all these elements. So for example, we as a mission, we want to be the promote customers' competitiveness internationally, because the way we help them is the way the value we create to our customers. And we fully believe in people power innovation. This is our vision. And our ambition is right now we are number 8 currently, but we aim to reach top 5 by 2025. So this is really brief introduction about the Bollore. So coming back to the HR, what talents we are looking for. This is really the straightforward way to tell you. We definitely look for people who has required skill sets, knowledge. So for example, when I hire finance people, definitely we need to look for whether the person have required skill sets. When I hire IT, it's no, needless to say, right? When I hire HR people, for example, in the past years, I hired many HR team in my region office. Definitely, I need to look for whether they have relevant skill sets and knowledge. But there are so many people who has these skill sets and knowledge. Why I go with certain people, and I made a decision to hire the people join Bollore. So there is another really, really important part, is value and beliefs. So we only go and target to have people who meet both this quadrant. They need to have these required skill set knowledge, and also they need to possess consistent with Bollore values. Any questions so far for these slides?
A lot to absorb, but don't worry.
Really? Okay.
In the handouts.
Okay. So it's difficult, it's easy to say, because I think, maybe you feel this is too big word, right? What do you mean by value and belief? Right? What is your value and belief? How do you make assessments? I'm consistent, or I fit your culture and value and belief.
I think you got a question here from Vincent about
Okay.
the last one. He said, what if they have the skill set but not consistent to Bollore values? So now
It's a really good question, Winston.
good question. Yeah, I like that.
So I think you can see we only target to hire people with both skill sets and value and belief. So this blue quadrant, right? This is what the population we target to hire. So to answer your question in a really short way, if people here, right, here, they have a skill sets, but they don't have the, the desired value and belief, or during the interview, with all this sharing and the 1 hour, maybe, with HR, 1 hour with hiring manager, both of us, we agree this person doesn't fit the culture and doesn't share our value and belief, this is no go. But maybe, you are going to ask another question, then what about, is there any exception? You still hire this person. There is exception, but we need to be really sure this person currently is here. This person currently doesn't align with a value and belief, but we have a confidence the person with the person's growth mindset and learning capability and strong adaptability, the person can move to here. If we don't have the confidence during the interview time, then it's no go. But if we have a confidence, because the person is really coming from different cultural background, right? There are many different company culture, but if we see this person, as long as you give a good challenging environment and then really exciting opportunities, and then the person has a good coach and under a good leader, then the person will be, there is a possibility, and we are confident the person can be coached. Then we still go with hiring, but this type of person will be really closely monitored during the probation time, or maybe in the coming 6 months or 1 year. And then after that, we do another assessment. If the person still, we feel maybe we were too confident, if the person was still not meeting the value and belief, then we need to make a decision after our second time of the assessment. Is that clear to your question, Vincent?
Okay, and then so Vincent, you can type in the chat, but I think there's also other. So Vincent say yes, and then
maybe we can go next. Move on with the slides first, and then we can come back to the question. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I think you answered part of the question. That's what I was going to say. Because they asked how can you tell, and then you already kind of alluded to it. Growth mindset, and then talking about changes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. So value and belief, right? So how HR, not only HR actually, we guide all our hiring managers, IT, finance, operations, sales. This is an HR job, right? Because we don't want to do this kind of interview only with HR, the population, because we want our all hiring manager in Bollore, they know how to ask the questions related to the value. So we have a lot of these internal training. So these 5 values, our corporate value, and different company has different value. But if I look at, I work 4 companies. It's all different company culture and values, but I think it's more and less quite similar. For example, maybe we call entrepreneurship. In other company, maybe you call some way different, but I think that the thing you are looking for from candidates is quite same. The people need to have a sense of urgency, a lot of these key qualities. So it doesn't matter how company categorize differently, but these are the values usually HR look for from the candidates. So here I'm sharing with you, this is a Bollore value, and we only have 5. So when we go to the interview, right? So what we are doing is we educate all our hiring manager asking questions related to the value, because we see this, it's equally important to the skill sets. And second, during the HR interview, maybe I spend less time about the skill sets. It doesn't mean this is not important to me, because as I share with you, when the person comes to HR wrong, usually the person already passed the functional interview, and then the functional manager did a quite detailed check with their skill sets, can be operation, finance, sales, anything, supply chain, and they are quite happy with those skill sets. And then come to my round, it's more about whether this company has all these fitted value and beliefs, and then whether there is any concern, we move forward, right? So this is why I'm saying, there's no need, you feel, I really don't know, I have a confidence about what I'm doing, but I don't know how to talk to the HR team because I don't know what they are looking for, right? So this is one of the common thing, maybe, can be raised, but I think there's nothing different we are looking for, okay? So how do we ask a question? So this is a value and we are going to focus, but how do we usually ask a question? And what is the best way for you to structure your answer? Go one by one. So I'm not sure whether you receive a question during your past year's interview experience, something similar like this.
Yeah.
Can you, this is a, Eileen, I really don't know, there's no worry because this is one of our true questions.
You're not giving your away, right? But
this is one of our true questions. Can you describe a time where you had to work with very little support and encouragement from the other people? How did you react and what was the outcome? Have you ever had such a question?
Okay, guys, if you have been asked this question before, put a yes, please. Yeah, I think Fanny was very fast, Zubaida very fast, Elaine, and Michelle. Wow, there's quite
there's some
yeses. Other than Tiong Yong Chu says no, Amy says no.
Okay.
Mostly yes. Shirley says no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe Eileen, I don't know how I see my, I cannot see the chats, right?
Because
my
you're
yeah, okay. So I cannot see anything. So, but it's okay. So
I'll read to you.
Okay. What do you think when HR interviewer or can be functional interviewer, when they ask this question, what do you think they are looking for?
Okay, guys, type in the chat. What do you think they are looking for when they ask this question?
I already give hints. The title is entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Okay, Jasmine says competencies, how resilient you are and resourceful, tenacity, resourcefulness, grit. Do they need someone to work independently? They're asking us to give example if we started an idea to see to fruition. I thought that was a solid one. Accountability, self-motivation, independence, how the situation was handled, reliability, ability to solve problem. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, quite a few.
It's quite a lot. So I think all these answers are quite good. So I think when you when you have this is a quite broad question. It's not only, I'm asking you with entrepreneurship title, what can be some of the behavior or qualities those interviewer is looking for, right? So in that case, then you need to think about what is the quality of being an entrepreneur. So all these six, maybe six is too many or too less, but I think here I just give you some of the example. So for example, entrepreneur is quite in a similar position. They don't have the support. The entrepreneur, because you're entrepreneur, you are the first person to have such an idea. And then you need to move on with your idea. Definitely you will have less support. And then entrepreneur is not the kind of person you do the job because everyone surrounded you, oh, you're doing such a good job, right? Encouraging, because there is no one, you're the first one having such an idea, and then you want to move ahead. So usually as an entrepreneur, the curiosity and creativity, they really have a strong passion, and then they have such a kind of strong wish to make it happen. And they're really focused, because it cannot be, hey, Eileen, I have a good idea today, and then I'm going to do it next year, right? So it cannot be. As an entrepreneur, you're passionate about something, and then you're really, really focused. And then maybe you just, because you're so passionate, you just want to come up things in the coming days and the coming 2 days. And then you are the person is not coming with idea, you are building things. So all these kind of things, and there's really important thing is it's to take the risk without the feeling, the fear of the failure, because we all know, right? Entrepreneur can fail many times till they success, right? So there are so many key qualities we are looking for when I ask you this kind of question. Have you had such a time? Because we are not everyone going to be the entrepreneur. And maybe you are asking, I'm just applying assistant job. I'm just applying a normal, the office job. Do I need to be, do I need to be like an entrepreneur? It's different, because if you know what we are looking for, these qualities, it doesn't matter what job you are doing. You're doing manager, director, or assistants, or really, really kind of junior role. All these key qualities are what makes you can go further. So when you receive such a question, first of all, you need to understand where the points are, and among all your experience, how you can respond the question in the right way. Okay.
Very nice.
So this is because in Bollore we see this is a first value. We are not kind of having all the employee to start their own business and become entrepreneur in something. Maybe it's really good thing, but we hope everyone, even you are hired by Bollore in your position, that you behave with independence and creativity, and then go ahead with your idea, and then challenge the status quo, and don't feel failure. Don't fear about the failure. So this is why we see this as the first one, the key value. And then, but we're not going to ask you, hey, do you think you have the quality of entrepreneur, right? We're not going to ask this way, but we're going to change the question. Can you share with your time when you had to work with little support or encouragement? Okay. So second, I already give you a hint: respect for each other. Second value. So I think this question is you should have have many times, right? I think it's maybe you have been asked many times. Tell me about a time when you had to deal with conflict within your team.
I think everybody should have been asked this question before.
I think you should be quite familiar with the question, and they should know how to answer the question. And then I think it's some I think at the end of the person session, I think one thing I cannot agree anymore. You need to come, and then you need to conversate with your interviewer, because I think you don't need to create a lot of examples, or of course you need to prepare the interview, but I think the more you come, the more you can listen the question, the more you understand where those points the person is looking for, and then you can structure your answer with more in the right way. Okay. So here, then, when you deal conflicts, we just want to know whether you are listening, the other side, and then whether you can disagree with respect, and then whether you can, to step up from the conflict, whether you can be, constructive, and then don't blame someone with who is not doing the good job, and then you can really, step up from there. What's the issue and what's the solution, and what you can help, right? And then also, you're so confident about your job, but sometimes anyone, maybe they can have a different view. When they share it with you, whether you are really humble enough and to open those, maybe you really didn't think about that way, but you can open those new challenges, and then you can still work together with the person in a really positive and collaborative way. So all these kind of behavior, when I ask a question, whether you had a conflict within your team, I'm not asking the conflict itself, actually. It can be any conflicts, but I think it's the way you deal with conflicts, how you see the conflicts, and what's the outcome of the handling conflicts.
I think there was a question about when you say conflict, is it talking about differences in opinions? Does that constitute a conflict, or does it always have to, be pointing to quarrels and fights?
No. That's what I'm saying here. The conflict can be many different conflicts. The conflict can be different view. Conflict can be in the timeline. Conflict can be in the interest. So it can be many things. For example, I'm in the regional role, and we have 5,000 employees in ASPEC, and I have 20 entities in ASPEC. And Bollore is a quite decentralized, and the organization, because each entity have their own HR, the HR reporting to the country manager, and then myself and my team, direct team, in the regional level. So whatever we want to roll out in the whole region, I need to share with them. I need to prepare well. I need to communicate well. What's the benefits? What's the impact? Because I really hope sometimes, all the time, I can come up with a plan. It's all benefits, right? It's benefits for regional level, and also benefits each entity, all these entities. Everyone is happy, then you don't have a conflict. But sometimes you have an idea, proposal, or you have to do, you need to roll out, and because you see a great benefits by rolling out these projects. But there are some of the sub-region or entities, their interest will be negatively impacted. So those conflicts, I think you fully need to understand why they against your plan. But I think in that kind of case, how you influence them and how you listen to their different view, because it's fair enough they can have such a reaction, and then how you still get the collaboration, get the buy-in from them, and maybe you need to also compromise from their position, some of the things. I think all these kind of things are conflict. Conflict can be many different ways. It's not only quarrel or these kind of, I'm not sure whether you're answering your question, a little bit long, right?
I think, okay, so someone say, can you give a model answer or the best answer that you have heard before? But I think your 6 points already said it out, right? If inside, it doesn't matter what conflict, but at the end of the day, did you show that you understand the other party or not, which is in your point 1, right? And then the rest of the points as well. So, but I do have some, YT actually asked this question: what if the conflict is between you and your immediate supervisor? Should you share that? And then also, I think, follow the same rules. What do you think, Joanna?
I think the conflicts can be anywhere, even between your direct supervisor, right? Because even we are in the regional team, but I in my position, I have my plan, I have my priority. And then from their level, everyone has their own workload. And then they share with me what is, because we need to talk. For example, there is one project I was hoping my team can finish by this July. And the team was telling me, maybe July is a little bit difficult. Then you need to sit down to see what occupy this team cannot, to deliver by July time. So you go through together what is the priorities, and then you do the adjustments. And then we slightly changed, because previously was maybe July is too difficult, maybe we can do by September time, right? And then we look at it together, and then to come up with the idea, maybe July is still possible, but I need to also compromise whatever I was asking them to do. Then I need to compromise some of the workload, the project, I need to postpone a little bit. So there it's a conflict, coming to the previous question, Eileen, you were asking, what is the best way answer to this question? There's no best way. For example, I'm not just looking for candidate was asking me, answering me, I had these conflicts, and then how I manage the conflict, either I just, to let them to follow my way, and then I go with this regional program, or maybe sometimes you need to give up, and then you just go with, okay, anyway, each entity you do your own, right? So there's no kind of perfect answer, but I think what we are kind of looking for, how do you understand this conflict? Do you see the other side's view is reasonable enough? Have you opened to the different view? And then what was the active way you proactively to work to fill the gap? And then still both sides can move on with the one direction, align the direction.
Yeah.
Right. So this is, the way you handle is more important than at the end who won the battle.
Yeah, and the outcome, I think, if you break it down into parts, right, it could be a reflection that you were right or a reflection that you're wrong, but does it matter who's right, who's wrong? Because end of the day, what is the impact that you make to the business? I think that one is also important.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no new one answer, because it all depends on how the interviewer is interpreting your answer.
Sure. Okay. So next, determination and persistence. We see this is really important, the value.
Yeah.
You cannot agree anymore, right?
Yeah.
So describe a situation, especially last year during the COVID, how the person was really stick to the job, or to recover from those situations. So I think when this kind of question coming in, I think first thing you need to know, this person, this hiring manager, functional, it doesn't matter, hiring manager, functional manager or HR manager, they really want to see how resilient I was, and how I determined, I was determined to do something assigned to me, right? So I'm not going to go through all these key qualities, because I think without self-motivation, you cannot be determined, right, to do something really in a really consistent way. And then also your positive mindset is a proactive approach is really important as well. So again, when you have been asked the question, you need to understand those points, how you answer. For example, it cannot be, just, it can be, sometimes it can be, with one question, we're checking with both, multiple value points, right? So for example, how you deal with the conflict, it can be respect, can be something we also want to know how determined you were for the things you are in charge, right? And then we also, maybe with the same question, we also want to know how self-motivated you were. So it's just, I'm just giving you one example under each value, but it can be really, the multiple checking points we have with one question. Agility, innovation, we really focused this value last year during the COVID time, because everything changed, and people need to be really innovative when they perform their job. So One was often we ask a question, what was the most creative idea or project you have generated in your current or past position? Because we want to know whether the person not only doing the good job, also the person is really whether they can challenge themselves and do the things in a different way with better return.
I'm smiling because I think a lot of companies go through that, right? With COVID,
Yeah. So I think agility maybe is the one of the word. If Eileen, if you agree, right? Last year was all these HR webinar, a lot of things, right? So at the end, you're a little bit kind of tired to see all these webinar with the same title, agility, agile organization, so everything. But I think this is not new, but I think it was really just so hot, during the last year COVID time. But I think if you look at the question, how you do things differently, is that something just from last year? No, because for example, if you often can see some of the people, right?
Yeah.
Let's say age 50 or age 40, it can be any age, right? So you can see some of the resume, maybe there's no any difference in the degree they got, maybe the similar age, similar degree, but you can see some of the people really in their resume, they started from junior role and they became a kind of, the lead for leading one team, one member, and then step up with the assistant manager, and then you see 1 year, 2 years later, they can be manager and director. And on the other side, you also see a lot of resume with, quite similar background, but they were junior role and they moved to the assistant or executive, and the person was moving all these different company still in the same position. So here I'm not talking about the position, right? So here is more kind of when you do the things, whether you have kind of really challenge yourself. I just want to be whatever I'm doing. Maybe, you do HR, you do finance, you do IT. I just have the confidence to do the job better than anyone else. So I remember there was one people was leaving because I think you were asking me, yeah, I can check the Q&A, right? So there was one people I remember one person was a question, I was leaving a question, people cannot see my value. I think it's not their responsibility to find your value. It's you. You need to demonstrate first. You need to kind of, maybe at the beginning, people doesn't see your value, but whatever you are doing, either you are doing assistant, you are doing executive, you are doing assistant manager, or you're doing really leading a big project, but we just see you always can deliver the best and you always can do better than anyone else in the similar responsibility. And do you still worry people cannot see your value? I hardly does. So maybe people cannot see your value in short term, but if you continue that, you just challenge yourself to be the better. I think your value cannot be hidden, and then everyone can see your value in something. So, so I really think this is how you challenge yourself, even you are doing the same job, because I think it's right now it's changing so quickly, our environment, and expectation also changing very quickly. Even you are still in the same department, same job, same title, same role, but also try best to challenge yourself what's new and what I need to do first, where I'm weak, where I'm not that strong, and how I can really improve myself in those weak areas. And then I want to be the better myself. So I think this is something really we see the quality, the spirits from the candidate. This is what we're looking for. And this one also I cannot agree anymore, because we often hear this, right? Pursuit of excellence.
Yeah.
What is excellence? So for example, I give you an example. Eileen, you can run 10 kilometers a day, let's say, right? I don't know whether you can. I really cannot run. And my dream is maybe one day I can run 5K.
Oh, is it? I thought you're gonna do the half marathon.
No. So this is a goal.
Yeah.
This is a goal. And what if I, one day I really reach the 5K a day, right? I can run 5K and just doing this every day. And then let's say I'm really happy with 5K. This is my maximum. I don't dream of the 6K, 7K, or 10K. I'm good with 5K. Do you still call this excellence? Or let's say, Eileen, you're doing 10K a day. We run 10K every day. And then you're also, kind of really good at 10K, and then you're fine with 10K, and then you are running 10K every day. Is that excellence? We can call this determination. You're determined, and this is where you are passionate about, and you're good at it, and you're self-motivated.
Okay, you got someone who answered your question immediately.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He said no. Melvin said no. If you keep 5K,
so this is our excellence, right?
Yeah.
So we can call it whatever you can call it, a determination. Everything it's good. If I can run 5K a day, I'll be really, really happy. But excellence means today I run 5K.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow I want to
push.
I can be able to run 5.1K.
Mm.
Maybe 1 year later, you can slow, because you are not, professional. I'm fine with the, grow slowly. But next year, I want to target 6K. And then the maybe in 2 years, I want to run as much as Eileen is doing, 10K. So this is excellence. So there's no kind of qualitative target. I can explain what is excellence, but this is really kind of your own target for yourself. For example, I'm often talking to my team, right? If this excellence can be any small things. For example, you send out email, and how easy, how well you structured your email, and then people don't miss any key points from your email, because you can randomly send out, and then people really need to find out what you want to deliver. And then maybe every day people has 200, 300 inboxes, right? Email in the inboxes.
Yeah.
But I think there are also some of the people, even with 200, 300 email, there are some of the people that can structure the email in such a good way. And then just to give maybe 10 seconds, you know what the person wants to communicate, right? So it's just as simple like that. You even sending an email, making a call, or having anything, the PPT, everything, whatever representing you, your kind of capability, I care. I want to do best with the given time. Maybe you need to work very hard, right? Because you cannot say, I prepared this PPT 1 year, definitely you can do the best, right? But sometimes we don't have so much time. Tomorrow's a meeting, I have a meeting, I need to send the PPT. With the given time, are you happy with the outcome you are presenting? So you are happy, you did all your best. I think this is excellence. So this is so important. So it's not only one thing is important, those 5 values are all important.
Mm.
And we fully kind of fully believe in, even there are some of the people has some gap in the skill set, we still can develop. But we more prefer to have people with all these key qualities, because we fully believe in these people, they are self-motivated, and they can quickly fill those gaps if they join. So I share what question we ask, and I also share with you all these questions are real questions. But there's no worry. I'm sharing with those questions because it's not only Bollore unique question. And then maybe different company asking in a different way, but this, I hope this can give you some of the insights, what HR look for, okay? And when you answer the question, please have this in your mind. You know, when I ask you conflict, don't just give me conflict. When I ask you how you handle the project, don't just tell me the project, because we want to know you, know your thought process, find all those behavior, action you take, and we want to know you, what value you created for the company, and how you can continuously to do the same and good judgments if we have similar situation happening in the future, okay? So for example, if I ask you a question like a conflict, you need to tell me what situation you were, what was the conflict, what you wanted to achieve. It can be task and targets, there are different explanations. So during those situations with conflicts, what you were targeting and what action you take and what was the results. So in this way, you give a full story, and then I can see, it doesn't matter, you know, maybe at the end in the battle, you lost, you know, failed completely because, you know, there's such a big conflict, right? You have to compromise yourself, you know, totally. It doesn't matter. It's more matter how you make a judgment during this process, okay? So I think it's a quite, you know, I think it's almost the 45 minutes, right?
Yes.
So I will quickly move on key takeaway. Two things today, I share with you many things. Two key takeaway. Communicate the value you created in the past. There's nothing in the HR interview, other interview you need to do. It's nothing more. You just need to do what value you created. And the other thing is through all these questions, how you structure your answer, you need to demonstrate you can continuously create those value in new environments. It's through all these value and belief questions because we want to check whether you have all these quality skills, the capabilities. So in the two real examples, well, I want to tell you these two takeaways, right? The first one is we see a lot of the resumes like that, like this, right? From what time to what time, and I work for this company and IT manager. What do you see? You know, what kind of question you can foresee interviewer may ask when they see this resume?
This is a very commonly worded kind of.
Yeah, sure.
Very common, yeah.
Okay. Very common, very, you know, often we see this kind of resume.
Yeah, so everyone is asking in the chat, where are the achievements? What's the impact? I think they're spot on.
That's true, that's true. So if you prepare your resume like this is a quite common resume, but I think I would encourage you, if your resume look like this, go back and to update, because I cannot see anything from this resume. I can see your action, what you have done, but I cannot see any value. So it's giving HR a lot of questions I need to ask, because I need to face-to-face or either, you know, the virtual, the interview. There's so many questions I want to ask, what you achieved, you know, by attending this meeting or by doing this, okay? So, and this is another example. So this is a takeaway, the second point, right? This is also quite common, commonly, you know, receive this kind of resume. This is much better than the first one, because I can quickly see what value the person created. So with this kind of resume, I know already what the person achieved. Then my question can be more straightforward. how did you achieve, to know whether the person can do the same in the future if similar situation happen. Okay. So quickly revisit, Eileen, the agenda. You raised the 3 questions, right? So I think by going through all of these, I think there's no need to kind of tell the answer already. So isn't all the answers found in the CV? I believe all of you agree. Nothing in the CV actually. So HR and hiring manager, we want to see more, more beyond the CV. So that's why we need to do the interview, and then we ask all these questions, need to have a conversation. And the second is, should job seekers sell their value add to HR? There's no question. The only thing you need to do in the interview, including HR interview, you need to tell what value you added. And the last question is, job seeker use a different language to explain their value or words depending on who is interviewing? The answer is definitely yes. Because some of the people, especially for those IT technical guys, they have a great concern, right? Whether HR understand what they are doing. But I think if you remember how you need to structure your answer, start. What was the situation? What you wanted to achieve? And what action you take? And what was the result? So there's nothing too technical for you to describe what you have done in the past.
Yeah.
Okay. So I gave kind of quite
There is one question which
okay, go ahead.
we need you to answer. What do interviewers look for if this is a final interview with the CEO?
Sorry. Can you, Eileen, can you say the question again?
Okay, what do interviewers look for a final interview with the CEO?
Okay. I think if the final interview with CEO, I guess this is a quite high level position, because I think normal position, we're not going to go to CEO. So usually the hiring manager, HR, and then maybe if we go one more round, that will be the hiring manager's boss. But I think if you have to go to the CEO round, I think, he already know you passed the functional interview and then you passed the HR interview. So I think it's more, from what I see, it's more kind of knowing you as a person.
Yeah.
So I don't think, if a CEO round, he is going to ask a lot of the technical question. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah.
And then, but maybe he is more kind of asking your leadership, how you lead a team.
Yeah.
And then what question you have for this role. So I think it's more kind of, you need to prepare, because there's nothing, in the book or your resume. It's more kind of the CEO wants to confirm what kind of the talents HR and hiring manager are recommending we hire.
Absolutely. Okay. And then someone was also asking, will you, if they don't have the direct skill set, right? And they're coming in from another industry, right? Do you actually, how can they, oh, no, sorry. I rephrase. Okay. They left the job, there's a gap year, and they want to go back to the same job again. So will you accept such individuals? And secondly, how should they explain their...
Yeah, we do have. Actually, recently I'm working for one case. My team is working for one case, to fill the open position, and then the candidate the top candidate is the one who left us, I think 2 years ago. I think for me, there's nothing different, because I still see whether this person has the required skill sets. I still see whether this person having all these, the value we're looking for. But I think for the people who return to Bollore, then maybe I have another question. What made the person made a decision to leave 2 years ago? And then whether the situation, the factor is still there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think, if the reason you made you resign, it's not there, then okay. But if you didn't like the culture, or you didn't like, the boss, but when you coming back, it's still the same boss, it's still the same culture, then I have a lot of concern, right? But
Right.
I think if you are telling me this person was really not happy with so many years, there was no progression, and then right now the person is coming back with different role, and then which is the person wanted before, but by that time there was no chance, then this is a different story.
Okay, there was a question about interview assignments. If the interview assignment is a bit different from the job scope, why do HR or interviewing panel even do that?
I'm sorry, what is interview assignment?
So sometimes, to go for the interview, they might assign you a task to do, like come up with 2 slides on something, or come back with
Okay.
or something. But apparently this one is, if the assignment doesn't seem to tally with the role. Yeah. And meanwhile, Joanna, can you stop share so that I can
Oh yeah.
bring up the questions as well? And
This
you know,
is
yeah,
much better.
in the,
Much better. I can see you. I can see the chat.
I know, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So how would you answer that question? If they give an assignment, number one, do you give assignment? Oops, are you giving away?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't give, but this is really common way to do. I did in my previous company, but somehow I didn't do in Bollore. So for example, for some of the position, we give one project, not project, it's a kind of the problem maybe we, actually we are facing.
Mhm.
Some of the problem, we just want to see how the candidates will come back. So it sometimes can be, not so connected to what you are doing. That's true. But I think you need to understand, right? So we are not testing you how much you are professional for that, the question itself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe you are doing marketing, but maybe we give you a question is slightly, connected to the marketing, but something different.